L to the W here, and today we're going to do a oil change on the HHR. Now, I know it's pretty basic, but one thing that threw me off when I first bought this car is I could not find that oil filter that's down there. So to help anybody else out, and maybe you've never done an oil change, you're trying to save money, I don't know, so I'll throw this together. I never really thought I'd do an oil change video because to me it's pretty basic, but I understand some people out there have never done it, and I bought this car, like I said, bought it brand new in 2006, and the very first oil change I went to do, I was underneath this car for I don't know how long trying to find a filter, but this is unique in that it is mounted right there on top of the block. So what you need is either a good set of ramps, jack or jack stands, something to catch your oil, at least 5 quarts. If you're jacking the car up, this cross member right here is a good place to grab. It's where I always do it if I'm bringing it up. But I got these ramps here at Harbor Freight. It really makes it a whole lot easier than jacking up and jack stands and moving a jack out of your way for an oil change. So you need 5 quarts of oil. I prefer Mobil 1. I've run it since day one. The high mileage has conditioners which keep your seals soft, so that's why I use that. And this car now has 144,000 miles. If you're sticking with AC Delco, the 457GO, whatever, is the filter. It's real weird looking because it's just a cartridge. You don't have that metal can on the outside. But that's it. And included in here is a O-ring for that cap. So now what you need is a 15 millimeter. This is your oil pan. Don't confuse it with the transmission right here. This is up front. This bolt's 15 millimeter. Now I prefer using something round like that because these are aluminum and kind of easy to strip out. Good idea to have a rag handy so you can wipe your hand off as soon as you get done with this. Alright, now while we're letting the oil drain, we're going to go ahead and get this filter out. Now I think they sell a specific wrench or something for getting that off. Cheap little socket, but what I did is I went to Sears, got a 32 millimeter socket, which is really overkill for this thing, but I didn't have time to wait for the part to come in when I bought this car, so this has worked all these years. You can't loosen it all the way because of that. The socket will hit and you'll get stuck, so you have to finish it by hand, which really isn't a problem. You can see how high up that comes by the time you get it all out, and there you go. There's your filter. To change this is fairly easy. All you have to do is just grab it, give it a little wiggle, and it snaps right out. I prefer using something like a pick like this to go ahead and get in here to the O-ring. Just kind of get in there and give it a little pull, get it out, and we'll just roll the new one on. I like to put a little oil around here to help that O-ring just kind of slide in. And we take our new one and just snap it in. It's a little spring loaded. And give this little O-ring a little dab of oil too. And then we just drop it in. I always like to make sure this is nice and clean before I thread that back in. And And we got a little oil down here on the block. Just clean up. The thing to remember, this cap is only plastic, I believe, some type of resin, so it doesn't have to be extremely tight. As soon as it stops spinning, that's it. It's good. There's no once it snugs, give it a couple turns. Once it's tight, it's done. Now on your drain plug, there's a rubber O-ring right in here. So if you see a lot of oil spray or you're losing oil and it's leaking, you got puddles on the ground, you might just get a new bolt that has that O-ring in there and just check it out. I mean, if it looks damaged, it doesn't hurt. Only a couple of dollars. I always just go ahead and wipe it off, get it nice and clean. Go ahead and get that threaded in. And again, I just like to wipe, that way I know if I have any leaks, this area is clean. Now to tighten it up, we don't need to do a whole lot. This is aluminum. It's not very forgiving product if you over tighten it. You really don't have to wrench on that. I mean, you just kind of have to have a good feel for it. If you don't, look, you can always look at what the actual torque specs are and use a torque wrench if you need to. And while you're doing the oil change, look around. Check out your CV joint boots. Make sure they're not cracked or anything. Check out your struts. Make sure they're not leaking any oil. Check out your brake lines. Check out your calipers. Make sure there's no leaks. Just give everything you could look at a good check while you're down here. You could maybe fix a problem before it gets too bad. Also take time to look all around everything, that your transmission and that's not leaking. Whatever you can spot, think to look at. That's what I always like to do, is give the thorough check out while I'm under the car. Alright, oil goes in right here. Now if you notice there's a little O-ring around here too, check it out. If it's damaged, go ahead and I don't know if you can get an O-ring or you have to buy the whole cap. Either way, replace it, because you don't want oil spraying everywhere. I gotta tell you, all the years I've had this car in the miles, this thing's pretty good shape, still nice and pliable. Make sure your funnel's nice and clean. You don't want to put any dirt or anything into your engine. Just add our oil. Go at a moderate pace. You really don't want the funnel filling up because it can overflow. Forget to install your cap. There you go. Nice and right to the full mark, if you can see that. I'm not sure how good that'll show up, but nice clean fresh oil. Now we have to reset the oil life monitor on the car. So using the menu button, make sure you're on oil life. And then my owner's manual is wrong, but what I found, what you have to do, and this might be different. They might have either updated the owner's manual, hopefully they did properly, or maybe this is an 06 thing, but I don't see them really changing it. But hold these two down for about 5 seconds, and then you see oil life reset, and then you hit clear, or I guess you hold it down, and then there you see acknowledged, and we're back up to 100%. Now what I always like to do is just double check and make sure I don't have any leaks while the motor's running. everything looks good. If you have a car that actually has the oil filter underneath, I really recommend that you do that. Because I remember one time in auto shop in high school, we actually had a car that we did an oil change on. We started it up, and there was a pinhole in the oil filter, and it was shooting oil out. Fortunately, I've never seen that since, but it never hurts to look. We'll also make sure right here, no oil leaks out of that. Alright, so I don't know what happened to the end of that video, but anyhow, I hope that helped anybody out that wants to try to learn to do this on themselves, or maybe you know how to do oil changes and you've never dealt with one on this car, because, you know, to me at least it was unique with that cartridge filter. So I hope that give me a thumbs up, please, if you don't mind, if this helped you out and you liked it. YouTube's really hurting us small guys. We're not able to monetize at all until we hit 1,000 subs. So if you're into cars or anything, please give me a sub to the channel if you don't mind. Really trying to build this up. It's expensive buying cameras, mics, and stuff like that. I'm trying to grow this channel. I got plenty of how-to videos here on the HHR. I have other cars like my SS. I have a Trans Am. I have a 2017 Camaro, 50th anniversary Pontiac GTO. I got a Grand National. I do car stuff. I do life vlogs, stuff like that. Still working on a channel, so if you don't mind, please hit that subscribe button, because YouTube's really hurting us small guys. And anyways, I would definitely appreciate it if you would. Comments, likes, shares, always appreciated. And anyways, hope this video helped you out, and hopefully you subscribe, and you'll see you on some more videos. Thanks.